Madre,
Here we are.
here we
Uh,
are.
we are. So I have an idea. You'll
I'm
tell
with
me
you.
what
Yes.
on the news today, they were talking about making Emmett Till's house uh, a national landmark, museum kind of status.
Yes.
Um, and of course, I had to do all the reading about it. You probably know, it's me not paying much attention to it, that the men who killed him freely admitted that they did this. Nothing happened to them. They lived to be old men and dying peacefully. And this is a demonstration of systemic racism in the United States. How the woman said he whistled at him, and then later the woman admitted that he didn't whistle at her.
Yeah. So systemic racism seems like what you want to talk about. We're already recording because I wanted to have the whole like hello.
Okay.
So I would actually love to kind of go back to our conversation as to how the conversation of systemic racism came up with us. So
Okay.
to provide some context, my uncle Jeff posted on Facebook, and I've stopped following Uncle Jeff specifically because he's been posting a lot of incendiary things about the Black community lately. And as his Black niece, it's very hurtful to me for my white uncles to be posting things that are so incendiary towards my identity. And
Have
so
you
he,
said
yes,
that to them in that language? This is very hurtful to me, your Black identifying niece. Have you used those words?
I have used those words.
Oh,
Yes. So
oh,
that's how I got to the point of straight up unfollowing. Uncle Gary and I have a call set for Friday because I feel like because these conversations have all taken place online that a conversation, a regular people conversation should take place. Uncle Jeff and I had a conversation about it years ago, actually back when you had just had your breast cancer surgery and I had met with the family for that big family dinner. Uncle Jeff and I went for a walk and had a conversation about basically his whole stance is that the way he looks at it is political. He doesn't think of the kinds of things that he posts as a direct reflection of my Blackness. He just feels as if I am drinking the leftist Kool-Aid and that the reason that I'm openly talking about systemic racism in 2020 is a result of politics as opposed to a true, genuine feeling that I have of being Black in America as long as I have been. So this all stemmed from something that he'd posted that said that if if he will never understand what it's like to be Black, how is it that so many white people are marching with the Black Lives Matter movement? And I said, you don't have to be Black to understand systemic racism. And his response was that systemic racism ended 55 years ago. And I set this up for public conversation. I didn't want to be the person to have this argument with Uncle Jeff, but I also wanted to create the opportunity for other people to respond to him. And Uncle Jeff chose not to participate in the conversation, the online conversation, but Uncle Gary did. And that's what sparked my decision to just have a conversation with him. Because at this point, Uncle Gary did things like someone said something he didn't like and he called them a Jew hater. And I deleted that post because I felt like we if no one else brought his Judaism into it, I didn't need to bring his Judaism into it. But you married my father. The reason that I'm happy these relationships with my uncles is because you married my father. So I would love for you to talk a little bit about what that was like for you back when you started dating. I think you told me that your first date was in 1971, which was a
right.
year after Loving versus Virginia passed, where interracial marriage was legal in the country. So being so early in the normalization of interracial relationships, what was navigating that family like for you at that time in 1971?
That family,
My father's family.
your father's family was very hurtful to him. What he experienced, he found really painful. They sat Shiva, and for those of us who don't know what that is, in Judaism, when a relative dies, you go through a period of 7 days of mourning. You rip your clothes, you don't sit on comfortable furniture, and people come to comfort you because it is the mitzvah to comfort a mourner. It's you get extra credit from God from comforting a mourner. And they pronounced him dead,
Mm.
didn't talk to him. And of course, that's painful. Think of what it would be like to you if me, your father, your brother, even relatives like Auntie Nana and Bubby, his aunt, his grandmother, would sneak phone calls to him that they had to be careful that June didn't find out that they called him. And we had a couple of clandestine dinners with Bubby. We'd go out to a restaurant that his mother would not go to do that. So it was incredibly painful for him.
So I would love to talk more about you and your relationship to Judaism, especially since you converted to Judaism. How long ago? Is it like 10? I'm not going
10
to
years.
guess. 10 years.
10
Okay. But
I,
let's not do that today. This is a promo. This is a taste.
another commercial, another time.
Yes, it's a taste of the conversation that we'll be having on September 13th at 5 p.m. So thank you for joining me on Zoom and giving the people an opportunity just to get a glimpse of who we are, what we will be talking about, knowing that the intention is about visibility. And you are somebody who taught me this idea of modeling good behavior, and I feel like this conversation is a way for us to demonstrate as Black women how to have and lead a conversation about race in a way that is healthy and open and welcoming and inspiring. So that's my intention behind it. Does that work for you?
It works for me.
Fantastic.